All right, so the energy has been hella strong since the new year began. Any of you that experience large amounts of stress and undue haste in other people over New Year's Eve into New Year's Day, you're an energy sensitive, you're an empath like me, you're picking up on the fact that there's some sort of undue rest in the world. And I'm going to unfold a little bit of that as we go forward. So 2018, as I've already said in many videos, was all about re-finding your 11. Because in numerology, there's a 0 before anything is formed, before the big boom. The 1, the manifestation of the idea. And it goes all the way through to 5 at change and 9 at the end, then it starts over again at 10. Once you get to 10, it's when you decide, should I continue on the path I was just on and do it again? That's the 11. Or, this path didn't really work for me, and right now I'm going to reanalyze and change my direction. Either way, you get to an 11, but it's a change. Either you kept the past or you don't. Well, I'm a very big believer in social consciousness. And we all have our own individual consciousness, and that's totally a thing. Like, I'm not going to sit here and bash out individuality. I mean, look at me. Listen to me talk. However, I do strongly believe in social consciousness and the social evolution of our world. And I will tell you something, this last year, those of us who've really gone internal as to how it is we want to move forward into the world with ourselves, we are at a much calmer place than the people who for this whole last year said no. I'm going to keep focusing on my ego. I'm going to keep focusing on what it is that I want. And this narcissism, this energy that they've been carrying with us, and I say us because we're a social culture, they're giving it away. They're trying to put it on us. And do not allow yourself to be the victim to that. I fell victim to it totally, both New Year's Eve and New Year's Day to many narcissists. And I'll tell you something right now, and this is what I feel like is going to help people move forward. We are all narcissistic in our own way. In our own personal path, there is narcissism there. Like, you have to go through narcissism as a human to be able to evolve past it into something else. And what happens on the way there is that as you uncover your narcissism and you let go of your narcissism, guess what? If you're around anyone else who's holding on to theirs, it is going to be a bloody battle. Bloody. And what's happening to many of us, and I know many of you are experiencing this, is that we're realizing how different we are than our peers that we've been hanging around for so long. And these peers come in the shape of family, friends, lovers, coworkers, bosses, animals. We allow relationships into our life. And when you uncover the things about you that you're no longer satisfied with, and then you stop doing those things, and then here's the thing, when you're around people that then break barriers they used to break, because back in the day when y'all had the narcissism game together and the ego game together, guess what? It didn't matter. But when one of you changes and goes, I no longer want to play that game, that's a boundary, the non-person, the non-you, the non-still over there, they lash out. They lash out. Oh, they lash out. And I have had nothing but lash out for over a month. It's because for the last month, I have felt very, very grounded in all of a sudden how I wanted to communicate. And what's really weird, and this is the best part, okay? Are you guys ready? I want to make you feel better. A narcissist, someone really centered on their ego, what they'll do is they won't say anything for a long time. And they do little bitty things to where they're constantly getting in and in and in. And they're dropping this little bit of negativity in you. And yeah, I know, you're hungry. We're about to eat. I'm on the roll here. I had to say this. And they'll keep dropping little drops of negativity in you. They're like pennies. And as someone who doesn't hold on to pennies and who doesn't want to keep them, at some point when you reach a certain amount, 47 pennies, $10.45, hours, days, weeks, however long it takes you to get there, when you reach max out, guess what you do? You give them the jackpot of all the negativity they've been giving you, and you explode. and you give them all this crap back. And then guess what? They say, you're the one who's emotional. You're the one who's unstable. You're the one who did this, after they sat there and shoved things in your face. And so my point is, now that we're here in 2019, I think everyone is being forced into social consciousness. I think that by 2021, everyone will have joined, and anyone that hasn't joined, they'll be removed from the system, whether it be through their own demise or through other people and removing them, whatever. There's a removal happening. Like, I can feel it. Woo! We have a removal happening, guys. And welcome to 2019. This is all about celebration, friendships, fellowships, finding purpose. 3 is all about those things. And this year is about finding purpose in our relationships. So I encourage you to move forward and to find that purpose in your relationships, because if you don't find that purpose, that connection, that deep, I am releasing. If you don't find that deep connection to someone, then you're not meant to be around them. And what happens is as you collect these people that have deep, meaningful associations with you, whether it be mental, emotional, spiritual, physical, whatever the 4 parts of you, like those are like 4 energies: fire, air, water, and earth. Whenever you find those people and more are like that around you, guess what? More and more. And eventually you're surrounded by people that you're supposed to be with, that are there to uplift you and there to talk to you in a way that you understand, not have to try to figure it out. Like, what did you just mean? Was she being negative? Was she being positive? Was she making fun of me? Was she trying to say... When you're with people that you're supposed to be with them, you don't spend the time trying to figure out what it is they meant, because you know. And so what I'm telling you, and myself, is find purpose in your relationships this year. That is the goal. And if you do that, you will thrive. Like, do it. L to the 5th is now L to the 6th. I don't know if we ever discussed dimensions, but 5, the 5th dimension of you, your physical body, the 5th dimension is your higher self. 1, 2, 3 dimensions are all about space. We're taking up a certain amount of space. The 4th dimension is time, what we're moving through. The 5th dimension is looking above. All of that junk going on down there in the physical world and going, how can I operate in a way that's best for me, that's going to move me forward, that's going to help everything about my being evolve. That's 5th dimension. There it is, evolution. The 6th dimension is then moving into the higher plane of everyone else. Because now that you know who you are, how are you going to communicate in the 6th dimension with everybody else? And when you run into, as you're out looking for the 6th dimensional find of social consciousness, guess what happens? You run into people that are operating on planes 1 through 5. Yes, and people can operate on all planes, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. People assume, oh, I'm 4th dimensional because I haven't discovered myself. No. People move in the 2nd dimension. People that are like bipolar, they get stuck on a yes, no. That's a 2nd dimensional problem. That's 2nd dimensional. Oh, wow, this has been a great year. And it's only been like 2 days. And so my point is, what are we doing this year, guys? 2019, 2 + 1 + 9 is what? 12. 1 + 2 is what? 3. This 3 year for us on the 2019 calendar. Celebrate your relationships. Create clear boundaries. And dare I say it, expectations for how it is that you know you want to treat people and how you want them to treat you. And anyone and everyone, including yourself, that does not stand up to that guideline, that rule, walk away. Because there are people that will. They're out there. It might not be me. It might not be her. It might not be your mom. It might not be your cat. And if they don't abide by your rules, put them somewhere else. Put them somewhere else until something changes. Whether it be you and your willingness to receive it, or whether it be them and their willingness to let go of doing it. Whatever it is, it doesn't matter. But let it go. And go out and find what it is you're meant to find. Because this year, we are supposed to meet people that change us. people that within minutes of talking to them for the first time, you feel, why does all this sound so familiar? And it's because they're in the same soul group as you. And they're on the same page as you are. And if they're not on the same page, they're in the same chapter. Okay? They're not in a different book located in a different library on a different side of the earth located in the 6th dimension away. Not those people. The ones that you're there with them. And they're there with you. And there's not a need to explain your feelings. You don't have to tell them when you're mad or sad or angry or why. They just get it. And that connection, and I have a handful of people like that in my life right now, and I'm looking to grow that connection to 25. I would like 25 people at the end of this year that just all feel like my best friends. I've always had 1 or 2, and right now I kind of, I guess, have 4 best friends. They're all male. Wait. Paul, Hector, Robbie. Oh, I do only have 3 best friends. Ah! Because I got rid of 1. Oh, God. And I want 25 of people that I understand and I connect to, and no matter what happens, even if we get into a fight, it somehow resolves. It resolves with both people growing and moving on into a better sense of themselves. As soon as that happens, it's good stuff. So welcome to 2019. It's been 11 minutes, 33 seconds. That's a great time to stop. 11:37, 11:38, 11:39, 11:40. Goodbye.